Hey guys, back with another video for you, and today I want to talk to you about one of the biggest questions I get all the time, and that is, how often should I water my plants? The only problem is that's almost impossible for me to answer unless I'm actually in your yard and can see what the plant is and what it's planted in as far as soil. So I want to give you some tips today to help you improve your knowledge of watering. But I also want you to understand, I can't tell you exactly how much to water your plants unless I see where you're planting them and what you're planting them in. So first tip, plant your tropical, your fruits, your veggies, your trees, plant them in an improved soil. The Arizona soil is so thick and mucky and muddy. You want to go and improve that soil. So take 30 to 50% of the Arizona soil and mix it with the rest of that 70 to 50% of some improved soil. So go to a nursery here in town, go to a big box store, go to Arizona Worm Farm, buy some improved soil and mix that with the Arizona soil. You can also do steer manure in there. You can throw grass clippings in there. You can throw mulch in there. Anything to improve and aerate that soil. So that's the first tip that will help improve what you're getting out of your waterings. Second tip, know the area you're watering in and what kind of watering system you're using. So for example, here on my yard, I have half of my yard is flood irrigation. So I have bananas and almonds and pecans out there. That gets water even in the hottest part of summer once every 13 to 14 days. So those almond trees, those banana trees, once every 13 to 14 days, that's the only water they're getting even in the hottest part of summer. I also have another part of my yard that's on drip irrigation. So during the hottest part of summer, those trees, and I have bananas and almonds planted in those same areas, are getting water maybe twice a week or 3 times a week. So you can see how you can vary your watering schedule and really dial it down to the specific tree, but still get success both ways. So the best way to explain it, when you improve your soil, or no matter where you're planting, you improve the soil, think of your soil as a sponge. So you want to get that soil to be like a sponge. And this is a dry kitchen sponge, but when you are going out to water your plants and you quickly dump about a bunch of water on them, that water is going to hit the top of the sponge and splash all over the place. The top of the sponge will get wet, but everything down below doesn't get real wet because the water is being dispersed all around it. But if you take this sponge and you slowly pour water on it, the sponge will slowly soak up that water and the water will keep going down until the sponge gets completely saturated. And then once it's saturated, the water will start slowly seeping out around it. That's how you want to water your trees. You want that area where your tree or your plant or your shrub or your bush is to get saturated to the point that it's slowly starting to water the areas around, so your roots are encouraged to grow down and out, not just on the surface and out. That's a bad mix. Surface roots in Arizona are not a good thing because we get so hot here, it'll cook those roots in no time. And if you have any problems with your irrigation system, you could lose your trees in 3 or 4 days easily if they're not getting water, because all those roots are on the surface and that water just evaporates like that in the summer. So you want to encourage all your roots to go down here in Arizona. Even for your smaller plants, encourage them to go down. So you do that by watering for a longer duration and getting the water to slowly go into the soil and seep down. So flood irrigation, that's easy to do. You get 6 to 8 inches of water slowly soaks into the ground, and 13 to 14 days later, you get watered again. If you have drip irrigation, here's the way to do it. You can run different lines to trees. Have a tree line, have a drip irrigation line for your bushes. That's ideal. But if you can't do that, another way to do it is to run different emitters to your different plants. So what I have here are some different emitters that you can put all on the same line. And you can get these at the box stores, at nurseries. Ewing here in Phoenix is a great place to get these. So what I have here is an all black, that's a 1 gallon per hour emitter. I have the red, which is a 2 gallon per hour emitter, and the tan is a 5 gallon per hour emitter. So you have these 3 different emitters. You can go and small plants, hibiscus, roses, stuff like that, you put a 1 gallon per hour emitter on them. Maybe some of your larger trees you have around your yard, or bushes, plants that like a little more water, like a bird of paradise, some of your smaller palms, stuff like that, put a 2 gallon emitter on. Some of your bigger trees, you can vary these by putting multiple 5 gallon per hour emitters on them. So maybe 3 5 gallon per hour emitters. Then what you do is water your yard for, say, 2 hours, for example. Well, over those 2 hours, your smaller plants will get 2 gallons per hour of water, or 2 gallons per hour. Your medium-sized plants will get double of the 2 gallon per hour, so that's 4 gallons per hour. And then your big trees will have however many 5 gallon per hour emitters you put on there. So if there's 3, you'd be getting basically 30 gallons of water to that larger tree over that same 2 hours. So that's how you can vary it across all of your different plants just by using different emitters. So it's a great way to mix it up if you only have one line run throughout your yard. Just vary up the emitters and dial them into the specific plants. And one of the biggest problems I see this time of year, and really in Arizona, everybody thinks that here in Arizona, because we get so hot, everybody underwaters their plants. It's total opposite. Most people kill their plants here in Arizona by overwatering them. They basically drown their plants because they think it's so hot they need to just continue to water and water and water. And then pretty soon, 2-3 weeks later, they say, hey, I just planted this plant 3 weeks ago. I've been watering it every day. What's going on? Well, you're basically drowning your plant. You don't want to do that. So like I said, you want your plants to get a little thirsty and then water them. It's just keep an eye on them. Reach into that soil. If the top 1 to 2 inches of soil is dry, it's probably a good time to start watering. But if you reach your hand in that soil and it's just a muddy mess all the way down, get away from the plant. Walk away from it for a couple of days. Let it dry out and water when your plants need it. So there's a few tips for you. Hopefully that helps you. I wish I could come into every one of your yards and tell you, yes, water this much and that much, but I can't. So all I can do is give you tips to help improve your watering schedules. And if you have any questions, be sure to let me know on Tropics of AZ on Facebook or right here on YouTube, Tropics of AZ. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in your yard.